Okay, so let's take a closer look at the anxious attachment style.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling of being hyper-aware of their partner's mood.
Right.
And constantly seeking reassurance.
Yeah, like walking on eggshells.
Totally.
The book describes it as having a super sensitive attachment system.
What does that even mean?
It's like your emotional radar's always on high.
Welcome to Witter. Who Has Time to Read? The podcast that brings deep dives for busy minds. Listen to AI hosts Jane and Dane and get ready to unpack the world's most captivating books in just a fraction of the time. Whether commuting, working out, or just squeezing in a quick break, we deliver key insights, thought-provoking themes, and takeaways you can carry into your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Plus, use our links in the description to purchase this book. Your support helps us bring more engaging book discussions to you. Listen and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Who has time to read? You do, with Witter.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. We're going to be talking about adult attachment styles today.
Oh, super interesting topic.
Yeah, it is. And to guide us, we've got Attached by Amir Levine and Rachel Heller.
Yeah, we'll be using that as our main source material today.
And our goal is to really just break down how understanding your attachment style can help you figure out your relationship.
Yeah, your own patterns and the people you date.
Yeah, exactly. So why are you attracted to certain types of people? Why do certain relationships work and others just crash and burn?
Why do you keep making the same mistakes?
Okay, so let's start with the basics. The book outlines 3 main attachment styles.
Right.
Secure, anxious, and avoidant.
Think of them like broad categories that kind of describe like how people approach intimacy and connection. So secures are generally pretty comfortable with intimacy, but also with being independent.
Right.
They're warm and loving, but they're also okay with spending time apart.
Okay, so what about anxious types?
Anxious types really crave that closeness. Yeah.
And they can get totally preoccupied with their relationships.
Yeah, always worried.
All the time, are they texting me back fast enough?
Oh my God, are they thinking about me?
Exactly. They're thinking about the relationship all the time.
Yeah, they need a lot of reassurance.
Definitely.
And then avoidance.
Avoidance think of intimacy as a loss of independence.
They're like, I need my space.
They need their space, exactly. And they just minimize closeness.
Yeah.
And can be really hesitant to open up emotionally.
Yeah. And the book starts with this great story about Tamara and Greg.
Oh, yeah.
I love that story.
So she's anxious, he's avoidant.
Classic.
I know. And they have this super intense connection.
They have amazing chemistry.
But their needs are so different.
Oh, yeah.
That it creates all this conflict.
Yeah, and it highlights this misconception we have
Just
that love conquers all.
Oh, right.
Like if you love each other, everything will just work out.
Right, if you're meant to be.
But the reality is attachment styles can create this push and pull. That leads to all these misunderstandings and hurt feelings.
It's so true. And that's why I think this book is so valuable, because it helps you understand those patterns.
Yeah.
And then you can start to communicate more effectively.
Right.
And hopefully avoid some of those unnecessary blow-ups.
Avoid the drama.
So one of the things I thought was really interesting about the book is how it challenges this idea that dependency is a bad thing.
It's so true. We live in this culture that prizes self-sufficiency.
You got to do it all yourself.
You got to be independent. You can't rely on anyone.
But the book's no, biologically.
We're wired for connection.
Yeah.
We need each other.
We need to depend on each other.
To thrive, to survive even.
And that's where they bring in this idea of the dependency paradox.
Oh, yeah. It's like a superpower.
It's the opposite of what we think.
Right.
Because the book says that secure dependence allows for more independence.
It's counterintuitive.
It is so counterintuitive.
But it's true when you feel securely attached to your partner, you're more likely to feel confident and secure in yourself.
Because you're not worried.
You're not constantly seeking reassurance.
Right.
And that frees you up to explore your own interests and goals.
It's like that saying, if you love something, set it free.
And if it comes back to you.
It's yours.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes me think about all those couples on reality TV.
Oh, yeah.
That just fall apart under pressure.
Right. They're constantly bickering.
It's they don't realize that supporting each other's needs can actually make them stronger as a team.
Yeah, it's like they think they have to like prove themselves.
Right. Prove how independent they are.
But it backfires.
It totally backfires.
Imagine if they knew that leaning on each other during those stressful moments wasn't weakness, but actually like a strength.
It's such a different way of looking at it.
It is.
Okay, so how do you figure out your own attachment style?
Well, the book has a questionnaire.
Yeah, I saw that.
We don't have to go through all those questions here.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do that.
But the main thing is to think about those two main dimensions of attachment.
Okay.
Anxiety and avoidance.
Okay.
Where do you fall on those spectrums?
So like, am I more anxious? Am I more avoidant?
Exactly. Are you someone who worries a lot about your relationships, or are you more comfortable with distance?
I'm already thinking about how hard it must be to figure out your partner's attachment style.
Oh, yeah.
Especially like when you first start dating someone.
It's like a puzzle.
It is.
But the book gives you clues.
Oh, good.
Like, pay attention to how they talk about their past relationships.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, their fears, their views on intimacy.
Yeah.
You can start to piece it together.
And they have those great examples in the book.
Oh, yeah,
like Barry, Bella, Janet.
Uncle Logan.
It's so fun to read those and try to figure out like who's who.
Yeah, it's like playing detective.
It is.
And it helps you start to see how these patterns play out.
Okay, so let's take a closer look at the anxious attachment style.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling of being hyper aware of their partner's mood.
Right.
And constantly seeking reassurance.
Yeah, like walking on eggshells.
Totally.
The book describes it as having a super sensitive attachment system.
What does that even mean?
It's like your emotional radar's always on high alert, scanning for any sign of trouble.
So it's like they're always looking for those red flags.
Exactly. And even small changes in their partner's behavior can trigger this cascade of anxiety.
Like a domino effect.
Exactly. They might jump to conclusions, overthink. Things get caught in this cycle of worry.
And that constant anxiety can't be good for the relationship?
No, it's exhausting for both people.
It's like they're stuck in the danger zone of their attachment system.
Oh, yeah. I remember that chart in the book.
Right.
That shows the different zones of the attachment system.
That's a map of relationship stress. Yeah. And for someone with an anxious attachment style, even small disagreements can feel like major threats.
Yeah, their nervous system is just like on high alert.
Always.
All the time.
And the book makes this really important point.
Which is?
That true love, in the evolutionary sense, should actually bring you peace of mind.
Right. Not stress.
Not constant anxiety.
It should feel safe.
So if you're feeling stressed and insecure all the time, it might be a sign that something's not quite right.
It's a red flag.
It's a major red flag.
For sure.
Okay, this is where things get really interesting to me.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Why are anxious people often drawn to avoidance?
It seems counterintuitive.
It does.
You'd think they'd be looking for someone who could provide that reassurance and stability they crave.
Right.
But often they find themselves attracted to the very people
who trigger their anxiety.
It's like a moth to a flame.
The book uses this example of Chloe.
Oh, yeah.
Who gets set up with this great guy, Trevor.
He seems perfect on paper.
Right. He's secure, reliable.
Everything she says she wants.
But she's bored.
Bored out of her mind.
She's drawn to the excitement.
The drama.
Of avoidant types.
It's like an addiction.
It is like an addiction.
To the emotional roller coaster.
Those highs and lows.
Those fleeting moments of connection mixed with the uncertainty and distance.
It's a powerful pull.
It is.
It's like self-sabotage almost.
It can be.
But the book says it's because we're often drawn to what feels familiar.
Right.
Even if it's not healthy for us.
Our early experiences can create these unconscious patterns.
That affect our choices.
In love, in life.
Okay, so let's talk about avoidance.
Right.
They often get a bad rap.
They do.
But the book does a good job of explaining where they're coming from.
Yeah, they're not bad people.
It's not that they don't care.
They're just scared.
It's a defense mechanism.
It is.
A way of protecting themselves.
For getting hurt.
The book uses this metaphor of the lonesome traveler.
I love that metaphor.
To describe this tendency towards self-sufficiency.
Right. They seem so independent.
Yeah.
Self-reliant.
But deep down, they still have that need for connection.
Everyone does.
It's just buried.
It's like they built a wall around their heart.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
To protect it.
And the book talks about how this avoidance might have evolutionary roots.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like in harsh environments.
Yeah.
Self-reliance can be a survival advantage.
Makes sense.
But in modern relationships, those same traits can get in the way of intimacy.
It's like they're pushing away the very thing they need most.
And there's actually research that shows that avoidants actually suppress attachment-related thoughts and feelings.
Like they're trying to shut down that part of their brain?
It's like they're afraid of those feelings.
Right, it's too intense.
And the book also talks about this phantom X phenomenon.
Oh, tell me about that one.
So avoidance might actually idealize past partners.
Really?
Once the relationship is over.
Why?
Because there's no longer that thread of intimacy.
Oh, so they can finally relax.
Yeah, and they can remember all the good times.
Without feeling trapped.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
So how do they actually maintain that distance?
That's the million-dollar question.
The book talks about deactivating strategies.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure everyone knows what that means.
It's basically like ways of minimizing closeness and emotional intensity.
So like pulling away.
Exactly.
Can you give us some examples?
Sure. An avoidant might focus on their partner's flaws.
Oh.
Like emphasizing their imperfections.
Right, to justify their distance.
Exactly. Or they might constantly emphasize their need for independence.
Even when it's not necessary.
Even when they're secretly craving connection.
And, of course, emotional withdrawal.
The classic.
The classic avoidant move.
They just shut down.
Yeah.
Become emotionally unavailable.
When things get too intense, too scary.
Exactly.
And these strategies can be really damaging to the relationship.
In the long run.
They prevent true intimacy and create that sense of disconnect.
It's like you're building a wall.
Right between themselves and their partner.
Brick by brick.
So we've talked about anxious and avoidant types.
Mm-hmm.
What about secures?
The lucky ones.
They seem to have it all figured out.
They do tend to have an easier time navigating relationships.
But they're not perfect.
No one is.
And their relationships aren't always easy.
Right. They still have their challenges.
But I'm curious to learn more about their superpowers.
Me too.
As the book calls them.
Right. What's their secret?
One of the things that really stood out to me is that secures don't just have happier, more stable relationships themselves, but they can actually make their partners more secure over time.
It's like they have this magic touch.
It's like they're contagious.
In a good way.
They're like the secure whisperer.
They're naturally attuned to their partner's needs.
Yeah.
And they respond in ways that foster closeness and security.
And research shows that their brains actually process threatening information differently.
That's fascinating.
It's like they're not as easily triggered.
By relationship anxieties.
Like they can handle the ups and downs.
They can ride the waves.
Without freaking out.
Exactly.
Okay, so what happens when those different attachment styles collide? The book calls it the anxious avoidant trap.
Sounds dangerous.
It can be.
What does that look like in real life?
So imagine this couple, Janet and Mark.
Okay.
They're doing laundry.
Exciting.
And Janet suggests they do it together.
Seems innocent enough.
But Mark just wants to be alone.
Oh, boy.
He sees it as a chore.
Right. Get in, get out.
So what seems like a minor disagreement is actually this clash of fundamental needs.
Right. Because Janet, with her anxious attachment style, is looking for connection.
She wants to spend time with Mark.
But Mark, being avoidant, needs his space.
And his independence.
Exactly. And if those differences aren't understood and addressed...
it can lead to major conflict.
Resentment.
So is there any hope for these couples?
I hope so.
Can they break free from this crap?
The book says yes.
Okay.
Attachment styles aren't set in stone.
That's good news.
We can learn to become more secure.
Even if our early experiences have shaped us in certain ways?
It's possible.
That's encouraging.
But it takes effort.
I imagine.
And commitment from both partners.
So they both have to be willing to work on it.
Absolutely. They need to communicate openly, honestly, about their needs and fears.
And try to understand each other's perspective.
Then find ways to compromise.
The book gives this example of Georgia and Henry.
Oh, yeah. They were constantly arguing.
Yeah, she felt ignored. He felt suffocated.
Classic anxious avoidant trap.
But they finally figured out how to speak each other's language.
They did it.
They realized that her need for those frequent calls during the day wasn't about being clingy.
Right.
But it was her way of feeling connected.
Exactly. And he learned that responding to those calls, even briefly, would actually prevent bigger conflicts later on.
It's all about understanding each other's needs.
And meeting those needs.
And communicate.
Communication is key.
Which brings us to another really important point.
Okay.
Choosing the right partner.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about finding someone amazing.
Right.
But it's about compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to intimacy and responsiveness.
And that can be tough to figure out.
Especially early on in a relationship.
It's like you don't really know someone until you've been through some challenges together.
And effective communication is key.
Always.
But that can be really challenging. Anxious and avoidant types.
Why is that?
Because anxious folks might fear rejection.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
And avoidants are just uncomfortable with too much emotional expression.
It's like they're speaking different languages.
It's like they're from different planets.
And they need a translator.
The book tells this story of Lauren and Ethan.
Oh, yeah.
She finally worked up the courage to ask him about his lack of physical affection.
It was causing her so much anxiety.
And turns out they just weren't on the same page.
Right.
He was avoidant.
She was anxious. And she was able to move on.
Find someone who could actually meet her needs.
That's so important.
So it sounds like honesty and direct communication
are essential.
Even if it's uncomfortable.
Especially then.
And the book actually outlines these 5 principles for effective communication.
Ooh, tell me more.
That can help you navigate these tricky conversations.
Lay it on me.
Okay, principle number 1.
Right.
Be genuine and honest.
Okay, that makes sense.
Don't try to hide your true feelings.
Right.
Or pretend to be someone you're not.
Authenticity is key.
Okay, principle number 2.
I'm ready.
Focus on your own needs.
So don't get caught up
in
trying to read your partner's mind.
Or anticipate their reactions.
Right.
It's about owning your experience.
Yeah.
And expressing what you need clearly and directly.
Makes sense.
Okay, principle number 3.
Hit me.
Use I statements.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
It helps you take ownership of your feelings.
And avoids blaming your partner.
So instead of saying, you always make me feel,
you would say,
I feel. When?
Much better.
Okay, principle number 4.
I'm taking notes.
Avoid blame.
Oh, that's a hard one.
I know, but remember, the goal is to understand each other.
Not to win an argument.
It's not a competition.
It's a collaboration.
We're on the same team.
Exactly.
Okay, last but not least, principle number 5.
Right.
Be assertive and unapologetic.
Stand your ground.
Stand your ground. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
And express your needs clearly and confidently.
I love it.
It's like having a secure Miranda warning for dating.
That's a great analogy.
Setting those expectations early on.
For mutual care and respect.
Creating a relationship based on equality and open communication.
That's the dream.
It is.
So we've talked about communication, but what about conflict?
Oh boy.
Because it's inevitable.
In any relationship.
Even the healthiest ones.
But how do secures handle it differently?
That's what we're going to dive into next time.
Ooh, stay tuned.
It's going to be good.
So join us for part 2 of our deep dive into attachment styles.
Where we'll be exploring those secure principles for conflict resolution.
And how you can use them to build healthier, more fulfilling relationships.
Can't wait.
See you then. Welcome back to our deep dive into attachment styles.
We're picking up right where we left off, exploring those secure principles for conflict resolution.
I'm excited to dive in. Last time we talked about those principles for romantic relationships.
Right.
But do they work for other relationships too?
Oh, absolutely. Like family, friends, even colleagues.
Because conflict's everywhere.
It's a part of life.
So having those tools.
Yeah, those skills.
Is so important.
It can really make or break a relationship.
Okay, so let's break down those 5 secure principles.
All right, let's do it.
And how we can use them in our own lives.
Practical tips.
I like it.
So principle number 1.
Yeah, remind me.
Is about showing basic concern for the other person.
Even when you're disagreeing.
Even when you want to scream.
Yeah, how do you do that?
It's tough.
When you're feeling like hurt.
It's all about creating that safe space for communication.
To actually talk it out.
And remembering that you care about them.
Even though.
Yeah, even if you're fighting.
They still want to find a solution.
That works for both of you.
It's not about winning.
No, it's about understanding.
Okay, so how do you separate the issue from the person?
It takes practice.
Because it's so easy to just lash out.
Especially when you're feeling triggered.
Right, like in Rebecca and Tom's story.
Oh, yeah.
She wanted him to go to her sister's party.
And he was overwhelmed with work.
And instead of saying that,
right,
she kind of blamed him.
It pushed him away.
And it created all this conflict.
Classic example.
Of how those insecure patterns
yeah.
can lead to so much misunderstanding.
It's a vicious cycle.
So what could she have done differently?
Well, imagine if instead of blaming him, she had said something like, hey, I know you're busy, but I'm feeling a little disconnected from you lately. Would you be willing to come to the party? It would mean a lot to me.
That's such a different approach.
Yeah.
It's about vulnerability.
It's about expressing your needs.
Without attacking.
Without blaming.
So important.
It invites the other person to respond with empathy.
Okay, principle number 2.
Keeping the focus on the problem.
Not the person, not their character.
Right. Avoid those personal attacks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you always.
You never.
Those are so tempting.
I know, they just roll off the tongue.
But they're like gasoline on a fire.
They just escalate things.
So how do we avoid them?
Awareness is key.
Like recognizing when you're doing it.
And making a conscious effort to stop.
Okay, what about that example from the book?
John and Mary.
Arguing about picking up their daughter.
From daycare.
It's like a classic parenting struggle.
Like, things get hectic.
You forget stuff.
But John stayed calm.
Yeah, he acknowledged her stress.
He reassured her
that their daughter's well-being was the priority.
And they found a solution without it turning into a huge fight.
It's inspiring.
It is.
It shows that we have a choice in how we respond.
Even when we're stressed?
Even when we're triggered.
Okay, principle number 3.
Don't generalize the conflict.
What does that even mean?
It means that one fight doesn't define the whole relationship.
Oh, I get it.
It's so easy to do that, though.
Like one bad fight.
And you're questioning everything.
Like, is this even worth it?
But that's not fair.
It's not.
You have to look at the big picture.
Okay, all the good times.
And remember that every couple fights.
Even the secure ones.
Right? Like Terry and Alex.
They were always arguing about groceries.
It was their thing.
But they were both secure.
They just had this one little thing
that they couldn't get past.
It happens.
So it's not just about being secure.
It's about those healthy patterns.
Right. Those communication skills.
We've got to work at it.
Okay, principle number 4.
This one's tough.
I'm ready.
Be willing to engage.
In the conversation.
Even when it's uncomfortable.
Even when you'd rather run away.
This is where avoidance comes in.
Oh, yeah?
It's like a defense mechanism.
But it's not helpful.
It just creates distance.
And resentment.
It's like a slow poison.
Like in Steve and Mia's story.
Right.
He kept inviting his friends on their date.
And she felt ignored.
And when she tried to bring it up,
he shut down. He couldn't handle it.
He was too scared.
So avoidance is a form of deactivating.
It is.
It protects you in the short term.
But it prevents real connection.
So how do we overcome that fear?
It's about recognizing those feelings.
Yeah.
And realizing that vulnerability is a strength.
It's not a weakness.
It's the key to intimacy.
Okay, last principle.
Number 5.
Communicating effectively.
This is it.
This is the big one.
It brings everything together.
All those principles.
It's about creating that safe space for open and honest dialogue.
Where both people feel heard.
And respected.
And validated.
And that's where those 5 principles of communication come in.
Right.
Be genuine. Focus on your needs. Use I statements. Avoid blame. Be assertive.
It's like a roadmap.
It is.
For those tricky conversations.
So you don't get lost.
I get that.
And the book gives that great example of Emma and Todd.
At the cafe.
He was checking out other women.
And she felt disrespected.
And instead of apologizing,
they got defensive.
He couldn't handle her feelings.
It's amazing how much damage
that can do.
Just not validating your partner.
It's crucial.
So effective communication is the foundation
of any healthy relationship.
It's the bridge that connects us
to each other.
So we've covered a lot today.
We have.
But I'm ready to see how these principles play out in real life.
Oh, yeah. Let's get practical.
Let's do it. All right, so we're back talking attachment styles.
Part 3 of our deep dive.
And, we've talked about communication. We've talked about conflict.
Those secure principles.
Yeah, but what happens when it's just not working?
Right, when you've tried everything.
The relationship's still
head in for trouble. Yeah, how do you know when it's time to walk away?
It's tough, but sometimes it's the healthiest choice.
Especially when you keep seeing those smoking guns.
Those red flags, those warning signs.
Like a Marcia and Craig story.
Oh, yeah, she kept hoping he'd change.
But he didn't.
Those deactivating strategies just kept getting worse.
It's like she was blinded by love.
It happens.
So how do you know when to call it quits?
Well, one big one is consistently feeling worse after interacting with your partner.
Like you just feel drained?
Yeah, like something's off.
Another one is when your partner just dismisses your feelings.
Right, they don't validate you.
Well, they try to control you.
Yeah, any attempt to manipulate.
That's a huge red flag.
And of course, refusing to take responsibility.
Or apologize.
That's a deal breaker for me.
So let's say you've seen the signs.
Mm-hmm.
You've decided to end things.
How do you actually deal with the breakup?
Because even when you know it's the right decision,
it's still painful.
Heartbreak is real.
It is. And the first step is to acknowledge that pain.
Don't try to bottle it up.
Let yourself feel it.
Cry it out.
And know that healing takes time.
It's a process.
Be kind to yourself.
Lean on your friends.
Your support system.
The book also talks about deactivating your attachment system.
How do you do that?
By focusing on the negative aspects of the relationship.
Ah, that's interesting.
It's like reminding yourself why it wasn't working.
So you can detach.
Yeah.
And remember.
Yeah.
You will heal.
You will find love again.
You deserve it.
This deep dive has been so eye-opening.
I know, right?
Attachment theory is such a powerful tool.
For understanding ourselves.
And our relationships.
And for creating healthier connections.
Yeah. So no matter your attachment style,
you can learn and grow.
And create the relationships you deserve.
Absolutely.
So keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep loving.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been fun.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Bye, everyone.